Okay, guys. This is very, very special.
Whoa.
Hold it together.
Right.
I'm trying.
The seams are bursting.
Yes. We have two very special and, I'm very, very excited personally to have them on guests of the show today. How many of you guys have heard of Baldur's Gate 3?
Just a little game.
Never heard of it.
Just a little game.
Just this little indie title, We have the amazingly talented, extremely, extremely wonderful Neil Newbon and Devora Wilde joining us on the Anime Effect. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is like a dream for me.
Incredible.
If you haven't played Baldur's Gate 3, which you should, because it is phenomenal, and probably one of my favorite games of all time.
I already know I'm missing out, so I'm going to play it when I get home today.
You may have heard them in franchises like Final Fantasy, Resident Evil, Warhammer, and more. I mean, what a resume. Welcome to the Anime Effect, you guys.
Hi, thank you.
Thank
Thanks for
you.
having us.
We typically have a question that we ask our guests at the start of every sort of like interview.
Yeah, anyone who joins the show who is new, guest host, special guest, guy who stumbles in through the door while we're recording, and we have to kind of vamp until.
I think it happens every now and then. Happens with regularity. You have to make a rule about it.
We have to call security.
Yeah,
it's a whole thing.
It's called the sitcom rules. It's the sitcom rules.
Okay, let's get back on track.
We usually ask, what is your gateway anime? So if you have a gateway anime or manga, we can talk about that.
For sure.
But we also would like to ask, what was your gateway video game?
Go on, Neil. You go.
No, you go first.
Well, I'm really bad at these questions because I'm not really like a gamer. But I did really like The Sims when I was...
The Sims count?
The Sims,
Good shout.
yeah. It was probably
the
first and only video game I've played until now that I'm playing Baldur's Gate 3. So I've got to go with The Sims. It's a classic.
Did you use cheat codes?
Oh, gosh, yeah. I gave them so much money. Oh, yeah.
I was like putting Loki in my Sims world and like I was modding it up. Motherload.
I heard you aren't playing The Sims right unless you're overloading your computer because of all of your mods.
I just like the fact you get to the point where you experience ennui as a player as your characters do because they've got so much money. Life has no meaning anymore.
Right. Yeah. It becomes kind of pointless.
The game has no meaning.
No, it's true.
You're just buying stuff you never use.
Yeah. You go to the most expensive page on the furniture directory on this Sim IKEA. And it's just, it is a life lesson, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
We're going deep here, but it's
you
true.
You start to get like late stage capitalism realization at like 13.
Well, that's where the brutalist rooms that only have showers with no windows or doors. That's where that comes in.
And then you start realizing you can hurt people, and then you realize that hurt people, and then that's your game now. Your game is just this echo chamber of evil and torrent of abuse. And
with no stairs.
When you have money and no morals and restraints, that's what happens.
The Sims
He's not referring to me, by the way.
Just to be clear.
For legal reasons, Neil is not referring to me.
Legal reasons.
I have never trapped anyone in a room with no windows and no doors.
Can you imagine if Dev and I did the new advert for The Sims and that was like the premise? It was just saying how evil and bad you can be if you have all the cheat codes and money.
But it would sell the game,
It would
though.
sell so well.
Yeah,
it would sell so well.
Yeah, it would sell.
What about you, Neil? What's your gateway video game?
The ones that got me into gaming properly, the first game I ever played was Horoscope Skiing on the ZX Spectrum, which was all of you just went, you have no clue what I'm talking about. You are so young. You have zero idea what I'm talking about. And that was the ZX Spectrum. That was great. But the game that got me into gaming properly was actually Rebel Star 1 and 2, which was the old Julian Gallup games, the strategy games. These are the ones that sort of the XCOMs all take lineage from.
Yeah.
And I remember just creating this amazing story there's no dialogue, there's no nothing. The story is basically, this is what happens. You have to go and do these things, and that's kind of it. You're shooting robots and they're kind of trying to kill you. So that was my gateway to gaming, but really my gateway to stories and being an actor partly was J.R.R. Tolkien and reading The Hobbit and then getting into role-play games like Dragon Warriors and Warhammer and D&D and things like that. And that's kind of what led me to storytelling. So
Yeah. So let's get into more video game conversation here because
really just role-playing games in general.
Or just role-playing games in general. Obviously, Baldur's Gate 3, a huge hit. Not only was it a commercial hit, but social media is loving it. They're loving your characters. We've all seen the edits.
That
guys.
is an understatement. The way we see this with fandom a lot, right? In anime, like people attach themselves to characters, and we do this all the time.
Right.
The speed at which factions formed on the internet for the characters in Baldur's Gate 3.
So many Astarion defenders.
I mean,
so you should see the number of Lae'zel cosplays I've seen.
Yes.
Lae'zel is not an easy character to cosplay.
No.
Not at all.
I mean, it's just incredible. And I think y'all's performance is both because
incredible.
I mean, Lae'zel, you meet very early in the story. Immediately, you're like, I need to know this history, this background. This like, there's so much depth.
Lae'zel
to every
spin-off
character.
when?
I mean, let's go.
Let's get the DLC popping.
Maybe that could be an anime.
Oh, there you go.
That'd be great.
Just the depth that you get from these characters from the moment you meet them. That this isn't the first time that they exist. Like you can feel in a lot of games, like they're living a life and you're just showing up and being a part of it. But I think we're curious, like, how has it felt to get that kind of attention?
Because
right?
in a role-playing game, you're putting yourself sort of in the story. And so, people are falling in love with these characters, but they're also falling in love with these characters. And, Astarion and Lae'zel especially have gotten a lot of that attention. So how do you sort of deal with this kind of heartthrob reputation that your characters are getting from the fans?
I think you're probably the first person to describe Lae'zel as a heartthrob.
I mean,
we don't yuck any yums here on the podcast.
Because I don't know. I mean, at the beginning, it was like instant Lae'zel kind of. I wouldn't call it hate, but definitely I think she was the character that was explored, on people's maybe second, third, fourth run kind of thing. And it's weird hearing you call her a heartthrob because
I'm drawn to that kind of character.
She was immediately in my party, and I was like, she's staying in my party. Like the immediate like interactions between like her and Shadowheart. Like I'm just like, I need this.
But she's very Marmite in that sense. I don't know. Wait, do you guys have Marmite over there?
We do not, but I've had it, and it is a very acquired taste.
Okay, so you know what I mean. It's kind of like you love it or you hate it kind of thing. And I think Lae'zel is that a sort of very divisive character. And so it's funny because people come up to me at conventions and it will be two very extreme reactions. And okay, so one of them will be like, oh my God, I love Lae'zel, like my queen. I've had people kneel to me, which is very strange. And then some people will spend I'm just like, what's happening? And then some people will spend a lot of time queuing to be like, I killed Lae'zel on my first run. And I'm like, I'm sorry to tell you this, but you've just queued for like 2 hours. Like, what are you doing? Like,
you're like, who really lost?
Right.
Like,
you stood here, used your actual time to tell me this?
Yeah.
Who really lost?
I don't know what's going on. Anyway, it's weird. I would say it's very strange in the best possible way. I had no expectation, honestly, beyond doing a good job and having fun with this performance. So everything that's come afterwards has been incredible and a lot of fun. And I just feel very grateful to be experiencing, honestly.
Same to you, Neil. How's the interaction with fans been and sort of seeing the reaction to your character sort of grow?
The reaction to our characters as an ensemble, as well as individual, particular things as well. That was very overwhelming in the best possible way. It's been lovely to hear that how much this story has meant to people and how much this has helped people, which is a huge bonus as part of what we do. We're here to entertain. And then when you hear people that they've met friends because they moved to a new area, they didn't know anybody, or it helped people come out as, trans or gay or bi or whatever, or ace, that these stories actually inspired them to make a change for the better in their life. That is mind-blowing. I think, all of us actors, we get into this because we like to entertain people. We want to tell stories. So to have that kind of visceral effect is not, we're not responsible for that. We're just a part of it. And the fact that it happened is incredibly humbling and very beautiful. So it's been a really amazing experience from that. And great to meet so many people as well, And I mean, South Park did an episode about our game, and it's just like a bit mind-blowing.
That's it. That's the moment.
Yep, that's how you know you're there.
That's crazy.
To go cross-cultural like that across all these different platforms and culture, all these different areas of culture, and to be, it's been quite extraordinary, and also a great opportunity for all of us to be able to champion other actors, also help ourselves in our careers, but also help other people as well. It's been really wonderful. So I think overall, it's just what a hell of a year, I think, is the best way of saying it. Yeah.
Wow. You brought up the representation and being a part of that, and people really, praising you guys for that. What does that feel like? I mean, especially in a game that became incredibly popular, which almost kind of feels like overnight. Like it just kind of like.
Well, it was a cultural relevance that I feel like in gaming we hadn't seen since Animal Crossing during the pandemic.
Yeah. And I would even say, like, for me, like, as far as like, cast, crew, and like representation, like I felt like the last game I played like that was like Mass Effect, I think.
Sure.
Yeah,
so,
Mass Effect, or maybe one of the Dragon Age Origins or something, which came pretty kind of closer to it a little bit,
So, I mean, what is that like? Like, you're part of something that's become so culturally relevant, and then, but everybody you talk to is like, I feel represented in this game no matter what.
Well, again, I think that the accolade for that lies with Larian, with Swen, the writers particularly, and all the developers that made the game. We were a big part of their stories, but we didn't make the game, we were part of the game. So I think first and foremost, that has to be acknowledged, that it was really Larian that did all this incredible stuff to promote diversity, to promote inclusion, to allow you to look however you wish. There's even, how do you pronounce it? Is it vitiligo?
Vitiligo, yeah.
Vitiligo, yeah. There's even vitiligo in the game, but if you have vitiligo in your life and you want your tab to look like you can do that. I mean, isn't that extraordinary to have that, let alone the non-binary they, them pronoun, which they added to a huge expense, by the way, just because they wanted to do it. So I think first and foremost, that's the biggest thing that we should acknowledge, is Larian, a hell of a company. They really are amazing for that. Speaking personally, the people have come to me very specifically about Astarion's story and what it means to them. I think it is very grounding. We're not entitled to any of the stuff that we've sort of happened to us after the game's released, and it makes. I mean, Dev, you said it a minute ago. It makes us very grateful and very very humbled in that way to be a part of somebody else's great moment in the story in that way. So, rambling a little bit, I think you understand what I'm saying.
No, for sure.
Dev, help to you.
No, I think you've said it perfectly, and we've talked about it, before. But it's I think I didn't really appreciate the scale of what it meant for everybody to really feel included and represented until I was meeting people face to face. And that was like a real whoa moment. Obviously I'm quite new to gaming still. I don't really know about other games and what representation has been like in other games, but I have heard and seen that our game is quite the pioneer in this area.
Yeah,
and it's incredible because it really feels, and when we meet people at conventions, and there is such an atmosphere of joy and love and community. And I have been told that before the game came out, a few people said to me, be careful, because some gaming fandoms are not great. They're a bit toxic and they can be okay. And I was like, oh, okay, this is good to know. I'm going to keep an open mind. But anyway, and this community has been nothing but incredible. And I think a big part of that lies in how inclusive and just incredible the game is at making everyone feel welcome. So, and like Neil says, I think Larian is really at the heart of that.
It's really heartwarming to hear both of you talk about community in this way, right? Because I think one of the biggest things that we talk about on the Anime Effect is really a lot of what you just discussed, but through the lens of anime, right? Like even back to the idea of like people have moved places and not had friends and found them through anime and anime storytelling, which also kind of takes me to another community besides anime, besides Baldur's Gate, that is so warm and welcoming like this, which is the tabletop community, right? The Dungeons and Dragons community. Specifically, obviously this game has a lot shared DNA with, you know, with the worlds that are present in Dungeons and Dragons, right? Like definitely went to Baldur's Gate in my last campaign. But I have to know, like, what has it been like? So we talked about being embraced by the community for Baldur's Gate, but what has it been like being embraced by that much larger, or not much larger, but much like previously present tabletop community, right? These people that want to see themselves in their stories so much that they've built their own. Like, what has that been like?
I mean, for me, like complete brand new newbie. Hey, Neil, that could be a name for you. Neil Newbie. I, as a brand new newbie, that's where we got up to. As a brand new newbie to the tabletop experience, I had no idea. Before our first one shot that we did with High Rollers, which was a lot of fun,
amazing,
so much fun.
So much fun.
I remember mostly Theo, but also myself to some extent, just reading these sheets like backstage, before we went into the room, and we were like revising, and then about an hour into this thing, I was like, oh, this is just sort of acting and improv, and this is really fun.
Yeah, it is.
And the people are really fun because they're just like, they're essentially actors. I wouldn't say that they're any different to kind of the thing we do. The only thing that's different is that you roll some dice and you have some battles in there. But, it's been incredible. For me, it's literally like a whole new world. Because honestly, before that, Dungeons and Dragons to me was just a phrase that I'd heard in passing. I had no idea what it was. I'd heard it in Stranger Things and I'd seen it there in that context, and that was it. Yep. So I feel like a curtain's been kind of lifted, and I'm like, oh, improv with a bit of like competition. Perfect.
There's lots of leather, darling.
There is
a lot of camp rolls and leather for some reason.
There is nothing. I've said this on the show a million times. Like, there is nothing like storytelling, like group storytelling.
Yeah, it's amazing. It's amazing.
But it's like shared meals, shared storytelling. These are ancient things. These are things that predate modern written language, or modern language for that matter. It predates most written history. It is a thing that we have instinctually done as community creatures from the very beginning of our actual sentience, of our evolutionary jump. We shared stories and we shared food. So I think that there is something about this cooperative storytelling that makes you feel connected to people in a way that, sometimes reading a book or even watching a film can't always do that. Yep. The active storytelling medium is quite, same thing with playing games, I guess, in online, a little bit different, but essentially the same kind of idea.
As we would say on the show, hell yeah, brother.
Hell yeah, brother. Insert eagle screams.
Well, I know our time together is limited, so we wanted to play a little game with you guys.
Are you up for it?
I like to play games on this show.
Okay. Especially against Neil.
Okay.
Yes, she's very well. That's why I'm drinking so much water, to loosen up the moisture, because I'm very nervous. Because Dev plays games really well, and I tend to lose these against her. Oh, she's very good.
See, now I'm upset because I said game. Oh, and this doesn't feel as much like a game for you guys.
Yeah, but I guess it is for us.
I guess it is. I don't know. I'm blaming Kyla. I'm blaming you for this one.
All right. Kyla's our producer.
When in doubt, blame the producer.
So this game is called How Would They Say It?
Okay.
And you know what? We'll play it too.
I think you should. There we go.
I don't know, man. I might be better at this.
So we have some anime quotes. We recently did a
bracket.
A bracket of like best anime quotes ever. And we went through like stuff that we feel like only anime could have, stuff that's like important to the community, et cetera, et cetera. But anyway, obviously we'd want to know how your two characters would.
Oh, I'm excited for
take these. And then also we'll try our best to not be extremely cringy with our versions of them.
That's too much wishing.
The first one is for Neil.
Okay.
And this was the winner of our anime quotes bracket. The quote is, "Believe in the me that believes in you," from Gurren Lagann.
Still a good quote, bro.
You want me to say it's Astarion?
Yes.
Please.
All right. Believe in the me that believes in the you. Or something like that.
I feel encouraged. I feel enlightened. And then Devra, we've got a very iconic one for you. This is from a character named Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen. Or wait, no.
You can do the Gojo one.
I think that
there are no
this
rules.
would be really good for Lae'zel.
Yeah, there's no rules.
I'm excited.
So iconic Gojo from Jujutsu Kaisen, fan favorite character, iconic character. We want to hear, nah, I'd win.
Oh, classic. Okay. Nah, I'd win.
So good.
That was so good. Oh my God.
I don't think I've ever heard Lae'zel say nah. That was weird. But we went with it. It kind of works.
We roll.
It's almost like she's saying it in response to somebody who's just said the word nah, and you're disdainfully saying nah.
Nah.
Love it.
Okay.
Love it.
All right, now I want to hear Leah say "Believe in the me that believes in you."
Oh, dude. After that,
Come on.
okay. Like just
No, just how,
delivering it as an
cold
anime
read.
line.
How would you do it?
Oh, cold read. Love it.
Ooh.
Should I deliver it like Naruto? Believe it.
However you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
Believe in the me that believes in you. Feel free to
Nice.
cringe
Nice.
on that one.
All right, let me try. Nah, I'd win. No, I'd win.
Okay, Santa Claus.
I was starting with Goofy, and then I think it went.
Yeah, well, I'd win. I think I'd win.
There was like
okay.
a smidge of Mickey in there.
Okay, Lee, you're going to be on the next one.
Imagine Mickey as a vampire. That'd be wild.
I might.
I mean, I'll got you
I
like a
can't.
fish.
I can't experience the true death. Sorry, I'm watching too much True
I live
Blood.
my life in moonlight. Just embarrassing myself in front of my favorite actors.
The quote is from your forger in Spy Family, which if you're looking for a bit of slice of life comedy mixed with effectively Mr. and Mrs. Smith,
Yep.
Mhm.
right? The guy is a super spy, the girl's a assassin,
Assassin.
and their daughter is a telepath.
Yep.
And they're all hiding their identities from each other.
And their
That's
dog
the
can
setup.
see the
Very
future.
comedy of errors.
So this is
Yeah.
from the assassin, your forger. The quote is, "I apologize for the intrusion, but may I have the honor of taking your life?"
Go on, Neil.
All right. I apologize for the intrusion, but may I have the honor of taking your life?
So good.
It's really good.
So
sort of
good.
Sexy a little bit at the end there.
Whimsy and sexy
Oh, I
whimsy.
liked
You're like,
it.
are you gonna kill me? Like,
little bit of column B, darling. You know.
This is why you guys are the pros.
this is great.
I changed my mind. I like this game.
Wait. Okay, so before we close out, first of all, thank you so much for
Yeah, this was
taking the
incredible.
time
Thank
to
you so
talk with
much.
us. I'm so excited to play the deluxe physical edition of the game, which I just ordered.
Yay.
And so very excited to crack into that. But I wanted to give an opportunity for you guys to plug. Like, I know our fans are anxiously awaiting to hear what you've got going on next. So what should fans be looking forward to?
A game that we can't talk about, another game that we can't talk about, and several more projects that we probably can't talk about right now.
Yeah.
Oh my
we've got
gosh.
quite a bunch of stuff we can't talk about. What can we talk about? I think we've got, I just got announced in Greedfall 2. That was really
Hell
cool.
yeah. Hell
Nice.
yeah.
Nice.
I'm not allowed to tell you what I'm doing in it, but I'm definitely in it, is what I'm allowed to say.
I am in a few things that I can't talk about. Something that came out recently that I am in that I can talk about is Space Marine 2.
Oh,
So I'm in
awesome.
that.
Ooh.
Huge game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually didn't know it was Space Marine 2 until about 10 days ago. So
Incredible.
Well, now I'm even more excited to play it.
Incredible.
I'm going to go buy that
kept
afterwards.
tagging me
Like,
in these clips, and they were like, "Dev's in this game," and I was like, "No, guys, I don't think I am."
You have the wrong game. This is not me.
And I was listening to the voice because I do a bit of like a Cockney there. I do like a bit of people like Cockney Lae'zel. It really is Cockney Lae'zel. And I was listening back, and I was like, "That's not me." Until me. I said like kin. It was like something to do with kin, and I was like, "Yeah, that's me." And then I was like, okay, what is this game? I was like, what is this game that people are referring to? Oh, what was the project? Because we have the project's the code name.
Code names, yeah.
So I
yeah.
had to go back and double check that
That is so
was
funny.
the actual. Anyway, Anyway, I'm
That's
in
hilarious.
that. So
That's so
try and
great.
find me because I'm in a few different areas. I think I still have no idea where I am in that. Really, actually, I've listened to one clip. Anyway, and then a few more, a few other things that I can't talk about. But yeah, that's about it. My end.
Wow.
I think I speak on behalf of all of us saying we are looking forward to seeing you in so many more projects.
And please come back on the show if you
For
ever
sure.
Friends
want
of the
to.
show. Yes.
Sure, yeah.
I have so
Yeah.
many
Would love
more
to.
questions for you guys.
We'll have to do a part 2.
Thank you guys so much for joining us. And yeah, hopefully we get
Thank
to see you
you.
again.
For sure.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. See you soon.